What was your impression yesterday when you got a tour through the library?
An impressive building. I think a fantastic work that they have done and a fantastic idea of what they wanted to do with the reading rooms, the material, the accessibility, collecting even a little bit of art and historical items of value. So I was impressed.
And when was this building built? Do you remember?
They needed 29 years for it. It was finished 2 years ago, but then it started, a couple decades earlier.
And what was the most impressive thing you saw in the library here?
The walls there with all what was it? The glass shelf, I think she called it, or the glass bookshelf. Or no. The People's Bookshelf is the one where people donate, but the whole thing was the glass bookshelf or so. That's fantastic.
What other places have you seen in Riga so far?
The Old Town. Yesterday when I came in early, I walked over to the Old Town, saw the market halls, the big building. I think if it follows the theme and if the story is correct, then we saw the same in Warsaw, because in the past it was a donation from the Russian government. And so I saw that and I thought I had to walk there. And so Old City and the market halls.
So this is the first time you're in Riga then?
Yes.
Okay. How does it compare to other cities in the Baltic area, if you have visited any?
I've been to Tallinn, so I would say I don't know how many people live here, because it seems pretty big and with a easy space layout. So it reminds me of the history more than some of the other cities. I think Tallinn is more historical and a little bit more caught up towards the west. Riga still has some work to do, I would say. Some of the buildings, some of the infrastructure, some of the stuff still needs renovation and modernization, I believe.
And coming back to the DSS ITSEC security conference here today, what is your impression and what are the sessions that you could attend so far?
Amazing event. That it's free is, I think, really cool. I mean, thanks to the sponsors, of course. Attended all 4 morning sessions, and I think it was good that there was this theme. There was, as I told you earlier, NATO was picked up in the 3rd session, which was really interesting. Awareness being 2 sides of the same coin, which Tamara presented, was really good this afternoon. I went a little bit to the AI security, which was interesting. Before that, the panel was well done on GDPR and the effects on what we expect it would do and how it will become hopefully valuable for the individual and the data we need to protect. So I think that's a pretty good venue.
If you think of cybersecurity, what is the topic that gives you the most headache at the moment?
The most headache, smart technologies and the coming of, or the arrival of IoT.
IoT in general, or the several sectors in the industry like manufacturing, automotive? Is there a sector in specific, or are they all the same versus a threat?
IoT in general, I would say, because they connect everything to everything else, and don't worry about security is the most dangerous combination. We saw the last 20 years. We need to do our homework and need to prepare. And yes, the Cyber Pearl Harbor hasn't happened yet, but we can only challenge the system and the opportunities so much before it will at some point happen. And so I think IoT just again shows we haven't even paid attention, we haven't listened. The whole effort of the past, again with GDPR, now we talk about data protection, should have done that a while ago. Now with the new technology, we should protect it. We should know from the beginning this will not work. And now we seem to make the same mistake like with all the other technologies.
Well, what should the industry do? I think in part, of course, it's driven by revenue. A lot of companies see a big revenue in this field. What can the industry do?
Secure manufacturing, secure production, and looking across the edge of the plate into other areas and see what interdependencies will do to my product. And revenue is exactly the point. We want to be market leader. I get that. You want to make money. You want to be first on the market. But that has to stop at some point because it's an ethical appeal, yes. But security now, whenever security is added late or not at all, there is a problem. And security added late will usually not fit or just covers the most basic elements and then the rest is left open. So I think we need to go to smart and secure manufacturing and to maybe take a step back or two in, do we really need to do this? What's the benefit? Yes, for industry or for the governments or the cities, we save manpower, we save money, we can do things more cost-savingly. Yeah, more cost-efficient, exactly. And maybe it's worthwhile investing a little bit more into the manpower and into actually the technician that goes out and interrogates a system, and we don't do it from home or from the company or the operating center. As the guy said in the presentation earlier this morning, this hacking of a smart meter leading to a ripple effect, which was the theme of Blackout, should worry us. And I think he underestimated, because when you read the afterword of the author, he said we researched the topic, and this is at the time when the book was written, this was possible. And preparations of the environments aren't ready. When a hospital has spare fuel or spare energy for 2 days, after 2 days public services will fail and there will be nobody coming to the rescue. So we need to learn from that and look into it, and actually I think do our homework, and as I said before, question this: does it really have to be interconnected?
If you look at the world as such, are there different regions that you say are addressing the topic differently, also under ethical aspects, like the US, Europe, Asia, Africa? Can you weigh in on that one?
I would say, is there a difference? No. Most of the areas are driven by economic advantage and by economic profit, and the numbers, I think, go into the trillions of what they expect IoT to make as revenue, and this is just the beginning. And IoT is just an example. So I think some industry strands are learning, because after the warnings, I believe the medical industry has understood that with security of a pacemaker or of other medical devices that people carry, insulin pumps or some monitoring equipment, etc., that might make a difference as an industry wakes up and leads with a good example. For example, medical compared to car industry. The car industry, I think, hasn't understood that the threat of car hacking and what's coming yet, and so we might more focus on industry areas instead of regions.
So, and on a lighter note, speaking of connecting, so you suggest that we connect in the after the conference on a personal level to have discussions with the conference participants?
Yeah, I think.
Will you be joining us?
Yes, of course. Happy to do so.
Thank you very much.